ran out of memory card space there on the last government think tank operations. Yeah, it's like in uh, Enter the Dragon. Bruce Lee's like he goes, "Are you gonna? If I point out the moon, are you gonna be? Are you gonna miss the moon by looking at my finger? You know what I'm saying? It's basically what that was about. It's also like this. It's just like me when I come to you and I present you information. Niggas try to flip it back on me and make it about me when I'm trying to talk about something else, like something non-related to me, other than the fact that I recognize that it exists or I'm aware of it somehow. Just like these fucking think tank operations, there's no reason I should know about any of this stuff. Other than that, these motherfuckers made plans to kill all of us, and how that relates to me knowing and surviving and just understanding things. You know, that's how important it is. So let me recap. What was I talking about? Silent weapons for silent wars, and it's like an economic strategy. And a correlated subject to that is something called the Iron Mountain Report, and that is basically it's the same thing as silent weapons for silent war, only a little different, man. It's got like a different think tank database did it, but it's the same thing. They want to master the human domain. These things all go back into mastering the human domain. One of the ways that I make videos is listen, I drop a lot of keyword information. Like if I say Philadelphia experiment, Montauk. If you don't know what those things are, just Google them and fill yourself in. And then you know what I'm saying? Then after you do that, then everything will make sense. You know, if I say Dulce, you know what I'm saying, or Groom Lake, you know which state is that in? What is another correlated something important to those names? You know what I'm saying? Uh anyone in the truth or conspiracy, red flag or community, we should all be somewhat familiar with that enough to where that wasn't hieroglyphics. You know what I'm saying? It's like this. You look at the Babylonian Sphinx, you look at the Egyptian Sphinx and the Greek Sphinx and the Chinese. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Basically. But anyway, let me think on some more of these think tank. Oh yeah, and I remember how I was talking about Rex 84. It's also named the King Alfred Plan, and that's about. I mean, it's really like the standpoint that that's taken is from a very white dominant mindset, which ties right into your Margaret Singer and these eugenics people, and how that ties back into neoconservatism, which is also corporatism and National Socialism, or AKA National Socialist Workers Party, uh, esque type organizations. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not the one that's saying it. It's just it is what it is. That's what it is. You can really look at all these back and how the Catholics have been in there stirring the pot, man. Always in all these operations, they're in the back, man. They're the guy that's going with this with the the hooded guy going in the back with the force lightning. You know what I'm saying? You think then you got Operation Northwoods, and this is how it was a plan where they were gonna do a false flag and blame it on Cuba. They were gonna steal a plane and crash it into a building, and then it said they would even have it was gonna be a droned plane, and this is like back in the '60s, man. This is like before I was even born. You know what I'm saying? It's like I said, a lot of this stuff I had never had no intentions of ever knowing these things here, and never wanted to, man. But you know, it's just irony of life, man. I didn't like spicy food, man, until I got a little older. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like a little camel toe hot sauce. You know what I'm saying, on my omelets. Uh, but same thing with this right here. This whole geopolitical keyword dropping, information, cross referencing and checking these things, like seeing how things are like, uh, they're correlated. You know, it's a co-conspiracy. It's not just a conspiracy. This is a co-conspiracy. I mean, you gotta look at this. This isn't just a singular thing. This is like it's got all these different factions and branches. I mean, it even says like it really does all go back to Babylon and Nimrod and the Tower of Babel, how they were trying to crack the gate to God. And you know, like CERN, they say this is you know what I'm saying? This is the modern technological version. You know what I'm saying? So it's like in the Book of Jasher, it tells you kind of like how that Babylon was like they were all confederate against building this portal that would get them into the heavens. You know what I'm saying? And 1/3 of them wanted to do one thing, 1/3 wanted to do the other, and 1/3 wanted to do something else. But uniformly, they all wanted to overthrow God. So they were confederate in the fact of rebellion, but they were divided themselves because each branch, like if we get it, we're gonna do this, and then the other guys were gonna do this, and then they were all punished, uh, according to their desires, which faction, you know what I'm saying, that they fell under in that rebellion. You know, and these type of operations, you know what I'm saying, where you that's bearing false witness. When you steal a plane from yourself, crash it into your own building, get your own people to go to war with your own people and some enemies. That is bearing false witness. That's also causing murder. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, that's a crime. You know what I'm saying? Like perjury, uh, stuff in the court, man. I mean, I don't know all the terms, but you know, it's supposed to be like, you know, lying, treason, fraud. These things are just you're not supposed to just be able to get away with this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So easy. I mean, it's just crazy too, man. That I mean, I've become privy to all this information, so I'm nothing special. You know what I'm saying? And everyone's can be just, you know, they can get themselves familiar with things. You know what I'm saying? It's not that hard. I mean, just Google. And then there's other people, you know, who make documentaries or have talk radio shows, you know, or do podcasts. I mean, there's a bunch of different forums that people will explain to you these things. They'll walk you through it anyway. You know what I'm saying? And it's like some topics you won't understand a topic's relation to something else until you understand the two things and see that, oh shoot, there's a connection here. Like the Yi Ching, CERN, Ezekiel's wheel, and the Tower of Babel. You know what I'm saying? How these things are kind of correlated, though they might not be related, but in a way they're similar things. You know what I'm saying? Or descriptions of things, or like the Mayan calendar. You know, you can throw that right up in there. You know, wheel within a wheel within a wheel. Uh, it's not rocket science. You know what I'm saying? To see, yeah, that's similar to that. Same thing with these government think tank plots. You know what I'm saying? Because they're all hypothetical. Like when they do a think tank like that, like Agenda 21, Sustainable Development Movement, and climate change. These are all the same think tank as well. And they all tie back into that Mastering the Human Domain, which was Iron Mountain Report, Continuity of Government, Rex 84, King Alfred Plan, and even the Operation Northwoods. These things are all co-related. And even now you look at this climate change and how they're spraying chemtrails and it's changing the atmosphere. And they had something called Project Bluebeam, which was another war against Cuba. It was a different think tank strategy where they were going to beam a hologram of the Virgin Mary in the sky, and she was going to say, "Oh, Cuba, now give up the war and listen to Kennedy." I mean, basically, I think something to that effect. I mean, that was just my uh uh you know recreation of what I heard there. But you can go look at that yourself. You can look up the Iron Mountain report. You can look up these things, and I mean, there's stuff. There's people out there. It's verifiable. Uh, it's like they exist. It's proven. This much is it's proven. It's not theory. It's not theoretical. It's not hypothetical. That's just what they done. That's what they did. This has already been done. And like I said, Operation Northwoods was in like '65 or something like that. You know, and this is a high level of connivery. I mean, this is this generational connivery, like long term pimping. I used to see things in long range pimping. These people think in long term pimping, and that is something I just don't. I'm not that great at long term pimping. Just being one guy under the Huxley dope life. A Brave New 1984, Terminatrix, neo technocratic, neo feudal technocratic Dark Age, uh, Armageddon scenario. I mean, but the fact that you're seeing all these things now, like the mastery of the human domain, not mastering the human domain, but the mastery of the human domain, and you go look back at these these in-depth studies, man, these culture engineering think tank, uh, man, they're more like experiments, man. It's so scientific, man. It's like they want to see everything, know everything, become almost, yeah, it's that all-seeing eye. And I mean, the Illuminati, all kinds of people throw up that eye, that all-seeing eye, and these people, they're kind of really, someone is like that. You know what I'm saying? Someone's got enough power through these masteries of the human domain, which came, they've been coming for a while, and it's kind of like it's all broken up and it's incremental. It's like if you look at each one of these things alone, yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's compelling. But when you see them all together, they really do look like a pyramid. You know what I'm saying? And the brick, there isn't bricks, man, at the top, man. It's that it's the Lord of the Rings, man. Staring from this monster, uh, invisible prison thing. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. This is really how it works, though, because the fact that they get to do these things and then just get away with it right under your nose, man. Right under your nose, all this has been going on all these years, and it's been evident in a way. In some ways, it's been evident. Like this police state thing didn't just happen all of a sudden. All this stuff, or the drug thing, that it's so bad these days. It didn't just start. They've been slowly ramping it up. It's like almost like a train. Like as it starts, it's like wow, it's like wow, and it gets going wow, wow. And before you know it, you can't stop that motherfucker, man. All you can really do is either get off it or get out of the way of it. You know what I'm saying? But no, the people who don't want to listen, you know what I'm saying? It's like, look, they're gonna be driving that train. It's gonna go, boom. It's gonna fly off a damn cliff. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it'll look like the leaders were in the train with you, but as the thing's about to fly off the cliff, they'll be like, hey, Mr. High Profile person, you need to get off the train, and they'll be like, wait, hey, this is a paper replica of that person. You know what I'm saying? And they'll be like, it's like on Wile E. Coyote, when Wile E. Coyote's standing over the cliff, and then he's like, he looks down, and he realizes he's standing over the cliff, and then he starts to fall. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, don't realize how close we are to that suspended animation scenario.